Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be pruning back my chilli plants so I can overwinter them. So I'm going to be telling you why you do it and how you do it and the results I'm hoping to get for doing this. So if you've not already subscribed to my YouTube channel, if you could please do so, because you'll get lots of helpful hints and tips all throughout the year from my home garden, my allotment and also my home kitchen. Now, these have been in my summer house, so they were in my greenhouse, but it's been getting a bit chillier and my summer house is a little bit warmer. So I brought these out today because the first thing I need to do before I prune them is I need to cut all the chillies off. So I'm going to cut all the chillies off even if they're not completely ripe. So they've actually done reasonably well and I've already picked quite a lot of chillies off this already, but there are still a lot of buds on there, but it's getting a lot colder now and I know they're not going to really amount to much. So the two varieties that I had here are Chenzo, an F1 variety, and also Scotch Bonnet, which is one that a lot of people have heard of. So I'm going to be drying some of these. I will freeze some of them. I'm probably going to make a bit of chilli jam and I'll save a few for just general cooking over the next few weeks. So when you cut the chillies off, you cut them off right up to, so you've got like the stalk that goes onto the plant and you take it right up to there. Now I recommend having gloves on because both these chillies are incredibly fiery and I have had a few accidents where I've got a bit of chilli in my eyes and I can promise you it's not very nice. So it's definitely worth putting some gloves on just to protect yourself, unless you feel very brave. And as I said, look, I've got some green ones on there, but I'm going to take every single one off today so that I can prune them. So the reason I'm going to be pruning them is I'm going to try and overwinter them. And the reason you overwinter them is that you're then more likely to get an early crop. And also the plants will be much stronger as well as a result of it. You can see that the stems are a lot stronger and a lot woody, so it will produce a much healthier plant, and my hope is that the yield will be much better and much earlier next year. I've actually never overwintered my chillies before in the past, but I've seen that a lot of people have been doing it, so I've decided to give it a go this year. So this is a first for me and I'm quite excited about it. To get some early chillies would be fantastic, because one of the things about chillies, they do take such a long time to start off from seed, which is why I often pick a plant up from a garden centre or a boot fair or something, someone who started them off long before me. Because I don't have a heated greenhouse, it takes quite a while for me to get my chillies going. So it does mean that, you know, quite a while before I can even pick any chillies off, and sometimes it feels like, you know, you're only getting to September or, you know, August or September and they've only just started to ripen. So it'd be really lovely to get an early crop. So this is probably the most time consuming bit, actually cutting all the chillies off. So if I can get these off as quickly as possible, and then I can go on to show you how you prune them. So there's two ways you can do it, but I'm going to do the brutal way this time. Some people wait for each section to die back and then you cut it off. So as it dies off, you then cut that section off and cut that section off. But I'm going to do the way where you literally prune it all in one go, because it's really not going to produce an awful lot more. So just to recap, I've removed all the chillies from both the plants and now I'm going to start pruning. So here comes the brutal bit. So what you're looking for is the main stem coming up and then the spurs that come off of it, and then you want to leave a little node on there. So I've got this one, main stem going up there, I've got a little node coming off there, so I'm going to cut there and then take that off. You don't worry too much about the lower leaves. As you can see, the leaves are all dropping off anyway, it's naturally just doing that. So it's kind of doing, then you again take that off. You've got the main stem, because this is split, so you've got two main stems. I'll take that off, and then I've got a little node there, so I'm going to take that off like so. Because what you're doing is and as you know, I talked about you could do it away by just by cutting the dead off. That had just started to die, so as you see, it does kind of like naturally do it for you. So let's just take that off. So we've got a couple of spurs there. And let's just do the same with that one, like so. Just take that off. So all these little leaves down the bottom will just naturally dry off. So that's roughly what you do. It seems a little bit scary, I know, but it's for the plant's own good. Now I do need to keep these and make sure I don't get too cold. So at the moment my summer house is fine, but they mustn't go under 7 degrees. So what I will do is I will move them into my conservatory at some point. So if you've got somewhere like a warm windowsill, you want to make sure they don't get too cold over the winter, because you don't want to lose them. And you do need to keep them moist, but you don't need to water them a lot. So obviously make sure that the compost is a little bit moist, but don't go overboard, because all you're just trying to do, you're just trying to keep them in abeyance until the spring, and then they'll burst into life, and hopefully we'll all get a flourish of chillies really early in the season. Now I do hope this has helped, and if you've ever overwintered chillies before, I'd love to hear how it's worked for you and any hints and tips you've got, and I really hope this helps you overwinter your chillies this year.